instead of taking all of your energy and putting it into the comments section on an Instagram page or a YouTube page, why don't you just have a good hard look in the mirror and stand there naked, and then also look at your bank account. And if your bank account sucks and your physique sucks, clearly you're on the wrong path. So you should probably do something about that. Yo, what's happening, guys? Welcome to the Battle Ready Show. Today, again, I'm joined with my good friend Leighton over here. Leighton, today we're talking steroids.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be tasty. Steroids, supplementation, TRT, HRT, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, man, I don't know if you spent much time on social media. Of course you have, because you're a social media guru. But motherfuckers come in pretty hot with the steroid comments, don't they?
For sure.
I mean, you've probably had a handful of those over the last few months, considering the progression you've made.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. I want to get your input on it, and then I'm obviously going to unleash the darkness in me a little bit on this
so
topic
we'll do a little bit of good cop, bad cop, and I'll be the good cop in this sense, where because I know you're going to do a really good job being the bad cop. So fair warning, you guys
See
watching.
how it goes.
But no, I say that because I think it's confusing for a lot of people, because they see all these fitness influencers, and more times we're seeing that that's not real. They're not natty. They're, doing all kinds of different things, but they're claiming that they're natty and all this stuff, right? But they're really doing steroids or some kind of gear. And that's confusing and frustrating for the normal person trying to look like that, because, especially if they're not willing to do that, it's like, well, bro, of course they look like that. Anything is possible. You see all those comments, like, Trent, whatever. So, that's kind of the good cop version, where it's like, well, I get why they're frustrated, because these people are, I don't want to say I guess kind of, you're faking it. You put in the work, but you had help. You get me? Versus somebody else trying to do it not that way. And they're kind of like, well, of course you look like that. You're on steroids. So,
yeah, in all honesty, man, I would love it if we could get to a point where in this space specifically, everyone had to do a drug test like every other month. If you're like an influencer or a fucking athlete of sorts, you should have to run your panels and show it. Because at that point, you can then see, and so, oh, okay, well, so Byron's testosterone level is X, Y, Z. Okay, cool, yeah, he's running gear. Sweet. Now you know what you're getting yourself into. When you look at me, you're like, well, if I did that, maybe I could have that result. But it still doesn't get to a point where it offsets the work, because you can jab yourself of everything and anything under the sun, but if your work ethic's not there, if your nutrition sucks, you'll just make yourself fatter faster.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. If your sleep is shit, you'll make yourself fatter faster. Your stress level will go through the fucking roof. It'll be awful. And like I've said this, I don't know, fucking 1,000 times at this point. Yes, I'm on TRT. When I had my levels tested, I was 160. It should have been between 800 and 900. Now my levels sit between 800 and 1,000. Just depends on like when I do my test versus when I've had my shot. I also do peptides. Of course, I do peptides. It's good for you. There's a lot of health benefits to peptides. But
just for like people, actually for me too, like what are peptides? Like what's the, like is that,
so it's like it's a friendlier compound. There's not as many side effects in terms of like your testosterone, your trenbolone, your anavar, your winstrol, all of that stuff is anabolics. Peptides are just a much healthier, lower risk, more natural type of enhancing drug. They don't do as much as a steroid, obviously, otherwise they would be classed as a steroid. It's like, I'm trying to think of a decent way to compare it.
But maybe like a safer version or something, like not as intense.
Peptides force your body to produce more of what you're trying to produce. So I take, and I'm going to butcher the name because I'm foreign as fuck, but Somorelin. It's you put it in like subcutaneous, so I typically shoot it in here, and it helps my body produce more HGH.
Got it.
So I take it straight before bed, and it'll help me naturally produce more HGH. It's not an HGH supplement. Like just because I take it doesn't mean I'm going to all of a sudden blow up. If you want to do that, just do HGH. It's easier.
Okay.
This stuff forces your body to produce more. So it's a much more natural, safer way of doing things. But yeah, man, I just like, it's so disappointing to see all of these fucking guys on the internet who just think that everyone's looking for a shortcut. Like none of this stuff works if you don't work. And if you wanted to get fantastic results, like I went from nearly 300 down to 180, 6-pack abs, single digit body fat percentage with nothing. no TRT, no nothing. And I had a natural testosterone level of 160. So like, it's possible. But then, like I told you earlier this morning when we were working out, when I started my testosterone, fuck me, did that shit kick in nice. Like, it was good. I bulked from 180 after we did the project to about 190, 195. And then I started my TRT, which was about 6 months after the project. And dude, I ballooned up. I went from like 190, 195 to 225, like a month, maybe a month and a half. It takes about a month to really kick in.
Right.
And then it's just like fucking Superman.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm at natural levels of 800. So you can't, which then, like I told you this morning, it makes you think, fuck, imagine if we did run it though. Like if we did go all in on this.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You can see why people want to do it.
Yeah. Well, what are the upsides of it? Like, because let's be honest, like I don't think there's, there's a time and a place, right? Depending on your situation, of course. Like, what do you see as an appropriate time to be like, okay, well, or is it one of those things where if people were just honest about it, you wouldn't really mind? So, he's honest about it. What are your opinions on that?
As in, like, when to do it, when not to? Oh, man. So I would say, like, unless you were really going to do something competitive, you were going to jump on stage or something along those lines, where now you need all the tools in the toolbox, because you know that the guys on the stage are doing exactly all of that. So if you come in without it, you're leaving shit in your locker. So I would say at that point, that would be a good time to do it. You would be surprised. You go to LA Fitness down the road, you'll be surprised at how many people are actually on steroids and you would never know it.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes take steroids or some kind of performance enhancing drug or peptide or whatever the case might be, and their body doesn't represent it because they don't do the behind the scenes work. That whole hour in the gym versus the remaining 23 hours. If your 23 hours suck, it doesn't matter what you stick in your body. Doesn't fucking work.
Exactly.
So, and their bodies are representation. They smell funny. They've got all the back knee. They've got all the side effects of it. They're just not getting the results because they're not doing the fucking work and they're not putting in the effort. So I have a tough time with these comments online because anyone that has even a semi-decent physique, like, bro, you're probably, 10% body fat maybe?
Yeah.
Thereabouts. Like, peeled out. You don't even run tests. You don't even do TRT. You don't do peptides. All you do is eat right, train right, and do you even take protein powder?
Yeah.
Okay, protein powder. Creatine?
Yeah. Those
Creatine.
Those two things, yeah.
And now, like, people are like, oh, Leighton must be on steroids. No. Leighton's...
I wish, man. I'm going to tell you the truth. I want those comments. So drop those comments, man. You know what I'm saying? Gas me up. Let me know if I'm looking right. You know what I'm saying? I haven't gotten those comments really yet, but I'm waiting for it, you know? We're working on it.
Yeah, and they'll come. As you get closer to your goals and looking like Creed 2 and all that stuff, they'll come. And they're coming thick and fast. But it's like... it just highlights the fact that the person that's throwing those comments around has never done the work, has never put in the effort, because you can do so much naturally if you just focus on your nutrition, on your sleep, on your stress levels, on your training. Like most guys, they just go into the gym and they do the bare minimum. And then they're like, oh, this program sucks. No, bro, you fucking suck. You don't work. You suck. You don't do the shit. You don't do the work. You don't do the sleep. You don't do the recovery. You don't do everything you need to do to get to where you want to be. That's why you don't see the results. If you did the program, and all of the program, not just the shit you enjoy doing. Like, do you enjoy meal prepping? Probably not. I fucking hate it.
Definitely not.
Pain in the goddamn ass. But when I don't do it, I'm not doing my program. My program includes meal prep. My program includes sauna twice a week for 20 minutes. My program includes cold shower or ice bath. That's all part of the program. The recovery is just as important as the fucking myself up in this building.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing all that, my program's not working because I'm not working. And then it doesn't matter again. I can fucking run every compound under the sun. Will I get the results? Yeah, I might get a few results, but I'm not optimizing anything. So I guess where I want to go with this, or where I want your opinion on it, is like, can you actually tell, like, you look at a guy in the gym and you're like, yeah, I bet he's on steroids. Would you know what to look for?
I mean, I guess, like, I don't know, like, this dude's obviously massive, vascularity, like, but on a different level, though, just like looking dry, just like, but really, no. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of just guess.
Right.
But see, that's where it gets in this weird game of like, oh, he's for sure on steroids. So I'm like, no, that's actually just genetics or whatever. And then you think some other guy is not, but he actually is. Like, who really knows, bro? Who knows? Yeah.
The only way I know if someone's bigger than me, or if someone's on steroids, is if they're bigger than me.
Yeah.
I'm like, they must be on steroids.
Yeah.
Right?
They have to be.
Have to
There's
be.
only way.
You can't be bigger than me and be natural.
Exactly.
No, I'm kidding, man. But like the reality is, like, we threw that photo shoot.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, steroids, easy steroids. No, bro, we put them through a nasty fucking water pool.
Yeah.
You went through it.
Yeah.
Wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Shit fucking sucks. But you come in dry as a son of a bitch. Your abs are rippling. You can see the ab veins coming through. Why? Because you're dry as fuck. There's nothing healthy about it. It's like,
no, but hey, you want to look good?
but you want to look good and you want to take your shirt off and look
Yeah.
like photo shoot ready. That's what it takes. So like, there's also this misconception as well around the fact that like looking healthy is this version of you, or that you have to look this specific way. That's not the case at all. There's nothing healthy about being photo shoot ready. The guys who are the most unhealthy are the guys that step on stage at Olympia. Like, they dehydrated, they underfed, they are borderline like putting themselves into a state of fucking shock when they're on stage, and everyone's like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're aspiring to that.
Yeah.
But it's like, also, bro, the guy's running some pretty heavy compounds that is putting him in a very bad place.
Yeah, for sure. So what's your like? What's the final verdict on like? What's your opinion? What I want to know what Byron Ovenstone thinks of steroids. If someone just watching this, if they just tuned in right now, steroids good or bad? What's your opinion? I know it's case by case, could be, but I want you to give your like. What's your opinion on it? You think they're good, bad? Like, don't ever touch them.
I said, do what the fuck you want to do. For honest to God, like we've talked about this extensively. I'm literally like at the point where I'm like, I'm interested, because I'm like, imagine if I did, what could we do? What could we achieve? Because I know what I can do naturally, and I'm in this weird limbo now where I'm like kind of like just in and out of photo shoots, and it's not a challenge anymore. Like, I can get photo shoot ready in 4 to 6 weeks maybe, and then it's like, okay, cool, now just go back to normal, and then photo shoot ready, and then back to normal. And it's like, there's another layer, there's another level. What is it? And it's like, okay, well, why don't we push the envelope a little bit? So I'm really considering stepping on stage, and I know if I do that, there's certain processes you need to follow, because at the end of the day as well, do you want to win, or do you want to just like say you did it?
Right.
I play for keeps.
Right.
I don't know if that's just a third world mentality, but I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm playing because I want to fucking win, not because I'm just here to get a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
So like at that point, I'm like, okay, well then I'm going to run everything under the sun. Obviously in a controlled environment, I'm going to speak to doctors, I'm going to do the blood work, I'm going to do it all right.
Right.
But in terms of like, oh, should this person on the other end of this screen run steroids? Do you want to do it? Are you going to take the right procedure, the right course? Are you going to take the right steps? Because if so, there's like a healthy way of doing it to where you can mitigate as much of the risk as possible, but it's not through your dude at the gym who's your bro science buddy who just like went over to Mexico for a second and picked up a bunch of shit and brought it back over the border.
Yeah.
That's not your guy.
No.
Like, you actually go to a doctor who runs your blood panels, understands where you're at, and then like you can get pretty much everything legally from a doctor if you wanted. It's not hard. There's plenty of companies out there. So it's like, I mean, I know companies that are prescribing people Winstrol, Anavar, Debol. Like, I don't think anyone's subscribing Tren. I'm pretty sure that's very illegal and no one does that. But like Debol, Tren, Test, like all of those things you can get, well, not Tren, I just said Tren. But all of that stuff you can get from a doctor. So if your doctor can prescribe it, that means that they have a good control over what's happening in your body. They understand what it's doing. Why not? But there has to be I'm torn because I'm like, there has to be a reason for it, because there is risk versus reward ratio.
For sure.
Like, hey man, I take my shirt off and I look good, but I'm about to have kidney failure at any moment. It's not so smart.
Nah, it's not good.
So I don't know if I can answer that question without having to ask a lot more questions, and it's a case by case. But I know within the guys on the Battle Ready program, I shy them away from it every single day. And a lot of guys are like, dude, I just want to run a bunch of compounds and get peeled out and look good. And I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
And then what? Like, what happens afterwards? So let's say you like, Byron, I want to come to the next photo shoot. I want to put on fucking 30 pounds of muscle mass and I just want to look like a god. Okay, but then what? because you're going to put on a bunch of muscle. Of course you are. It's a fucking anabolic steroid. It's going to do what it does best, which is make you look like a god. But then when you come off it, most of that is gone. And then now you got to deal with the psychological of it, because you remember what you were when you were on it. Now you're off it. And you're not the same version. So now you've taken a huge step back. All of a sudden you were benching 315 and now you struggle at 225. That's a huge mind fuck that you have to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, for real.
So now all of a sudden you get hungrier and hungrier to run that compound again. Why? Because you're not the same version you were when you were on it. And then it's a slippery slope, because you run the same dosage, you don't get the same result. It's just like anyone who does any kind of drugs.
Yeah.
You get to a point where your body starts getting numb to it, and you got to increase and do more extreme shit to get the same results or better. And then it gets to a point where everything just gets way out of control, and you hear of a guy at 26 years old fucking having a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, yeah, because he had like 7 times the natural testosterone level you're supposed to have in your bloodstream. Like at any point, you could run my blood work and you will see where I'm at.
Right.
It'll be between 800 and 1,000. Consistent as the fucking sun. But I'm also playing a longer game. And we've talked about this. Like the moment my daughter was born, everything for me changed. It was like a fucking switch flicked in my head. And it's like, there was a desire and a drive to do all sorts of crazy shit, dude. And then it was like, but now I have a bigger reason why I need to be
Different.
here.
Yeah.
And like, if I slip, she falls. I'm not going to slip. So I can't afford to do some extreme dumb shit, because she grows up without a father, then she has daddy issues, then she becomes a fucking stripper or something stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that for her.
We ain't having that.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I have to turn up a certain way. I have to do the shit that I don't want to do necessarily every single day. And I have to live life on a completely different level. I can't run a bunch of compounds and become a pavement cracking motherfucker, which would be dope as hell. But then what happens if I have to run a mile and I have a heart attack because I can't run a fucking mile?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of those
What
cases.
good am I?
Yeah.
Like, I have to chase someone down to get my daughter, and I can't do it. I'm fucking useless. So everything shifted, everything changed. And it's like, okay, now I have to become like a human weapon where I can run, I can rip a car door off and everything else.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what that has to do with steroids, but it's
No, but
circles back to
exactly. Yeah.
the real thing, which is like, dude, your perception will change. So those of you, the guys on the YouTubes now that are like, oh man, maybe I want to run steroids, and you're 18 to 26 years old, please be smarter. Like, you're
For
still
real,
a baby.
Yeah, you don't
You're
need
still
it.
a fucking baby. Your
Right.
testosterone hasn't even truly kicked in properly yet. And now you're thinking about fucking your natural levels by doing some stupid shit. Like, if you're in your late 40s, early 50s, and you want to fuck with this shit, run it.
Right.
Because you're old enough to understand. And you also don't have that much time left on this earth. You got like 30 years, 40 years, and you're fucking done anyway. Cool. You've lived half your
Right.
life, bro. But like, you're 20 or 18, you're going to pay for 70 years for a decision you made today because you were impatient and you just didn't want to do the work. So that's where, like, when you were asking that initial question, it's like, it's hard to say, because like, it depends where you are in this game called life. Like, if you're young and like what are you, 26, 28? 27, 2 kids, wife, like, don't be stupid. Like,
Yeah, for real.
you're too young. This is just too stupid. It's like, it's just too stupid. You're risking too much.
Yeah.
Versus like, you're 60 and you want to fucking do like I don't know, some old dude bodybuilding competition. Cool.
Run it.
Run it. Do your blood panels, do it properly, do it healthily. Make sure you're doing all the other hard shit first. Because if your sleep sucks, your nutrition sucks, your workouts are fucking average at best, and you're stressed through the roof and a bunch of other factors, it doesn't matter what you put in your body, it's not going to work.
Right.
So I just think, to put a bow on this whole fucking conversation, it's the guys who've never done a good day's work in the gym, who's never really followed a nutrition plan, who's never really done anything right in the first place. And it's those same motherfuckers who send you a DM and go, what supplements should I take to get bigger?
Where's the
Chicken breast.
shortcut? Yeah.
Yeah, chicken breast, steak, sweet potato, red skin potato. Like, real food. That's the supplements you should take. And then when you got those on lock, then your creatine will add you that 1%.
Yeah.
That protein powder will help you hit that 300 gram protein number that you can't get with chicken breast, because palate fatigue is a fucking thing.
Right.
I don't know if you tried to eat 300 grams of chicken before.
Nah.
Like pure protein chicken. Jesus.
Nah.
Good fucking luck.
Ain't no way.
It's dry as a son of a bitch. And you're like,
For
You
real.
can't do it.
Exactly.
It's not possible. Like a dry
Exactly.
baked potato, it's
Yeah.
fucking nasty.
Nope. I'll pass.
Right. That point, nice protein shake.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. 50 grams of protein. It's a wrap.
There we go.
But it's because you've dialed in the other shit first. I just take this protein shake and I don't do work. It doesn't matter. I don't get muscle. I don't get bigger. I don't get stronger. If this was Tren and I put Tren in my fucking quad and I sat on this chair all day, I'm not miraculously blowing out of this hoodie.
Exactly.
I know that much.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's the same as when TRT. There's a lot of guys on TRT who are fat as fuck.
Yeah. So I'm.
I can think of like a bunch of project guys off the top of my head, and I'm not going to call you out, although I fucking should, you bitches. Like running TRT and
Don't do
they're
it.
fat as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 30% body fat, 25% body fat.
Way too high.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Just because you're on TRT, you think you can sit on your ass and you're going to get bigger and stronger and look good?
Pretty
Come on.
much.
Doesn't work that way.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts.
Damn.
But
Shortcuts. Man.
like if you're doing the work, you can time collapse
Right.
through those kind of compounds.
There we go.
But then also understand that there's a reason that you're going to do it. Like there has to be a bigger why. Like anything, man. You're going to, I don't know. I'm kind of bored of this topic. I'm not going to lie. Because I'm trying to like.
About to go
remain
in, dude. I'm
PC.
telling you, bro.
I'm trying to be PC and I'm trying to like understand from these
Can't.
fucking guys' perspective on why they feel the need to constantly just shit talk guys who are actually doing the work and putting in the effort. Like,
We'll get there for sure. I already know. We're going to make that a whole other episode right now for steroids. You know, we'll keep it on steroids, but I know you got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to that. So stay tuned for the next one. It's about to go down.
yeah. Well, it's just disappointing because it's like you're just projecting your insecurities, the fact that you don't do work and everything onto other people. Why? Like the amount of time it took you to shit talk me and be an arsehole on the social medias and hey man, you still turn up tomorrow to look at my shit again just so that you had another opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if you just put that much effort into yourself, imagine how much cooler your life would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine how much of a better father you'd be, a better husband you'd be, how much like, more secure in yourself you would be. And I know this because I did it. I was fat as fuck. And I also did the thing where I would look around the gym and I'd be like, I bet he's on steroids, I bet he's on steroids. Like, because I was never the guy that like shit talked on social media or anything like that. Like if I shit talk you on social media, it's because you instigated and I'm going to put a bow on that conversation. Like, but it's, motherfucker, man, like you have this conversation in your head where you're like, I bet he's like doing a little something extra. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Who cares? It doesn't take away from the fact that I'm still not doing the fucking work. And if I just got out of my own way, shut my goddamn mouth. I mean, I have this conversation with my son on a regular basis. Hey kid, stop doing this shit, zip your fucking mouth and do the work and the results will come. The more you talk about the work you want to do, the more time you rob of yourself doing the fucking work. It's the same for grown-ass men. I just speak to 37-year-olds, 7-year-olds every single day. Right?
Yeah.
Like they never grew up past 7. And I don't know if it's because they got fucking wrapped in cotton wool by their mom or they didn't have a dad or their dad was just a fucking pussy. But like, you guys need to have these hard conversations and tell your kids, you shut the fuck up and just do the work. Because he's going to grow up to be a 37-year-old little bitch who bitches about other men doing steroids when
It happens all the time.
bro, like
It's easier to do that.
way easier.
It's easier, man. It's easier. We know what they're doing, man. It's just like,
doing nothing.
whatever. Exactly. Just online. So just keep doing it. Keep lifting. Keep looking good. Keep getting bigger, sexier. You feel me?
Right.
That's it.
And then
What are we
you
doing?
stand in front of that mirror over there, you take your shirt off and you're like, I like the way I look. I'm going to do
Exactly.
more of what's working
Exactly.
and less of what's not working. And then that 1% rule kicks in.
There we go. So
And then
let's
you get
it.
more haters. And then you get to a point where like you use that as fuel. The more people that tell me that I'm on steroids, the more I'm like, fuck yeah, what I'm doing is working.
Hell
I'm going to
yeah.
double down on what's working.
There we go.
My nutrition gets cleaner.
Money.
My training gets harder. And I got that Rolodex in the back of my head of those motherfuckers when I was at school talking shit too.
Oh, snap. Let's get it.
We get dark.
It's a
real
good one,
quick.
dude. It's a good one.
But it pays off, man.
For sure.
And you can fuel that monster or you can let it get the better of you. And it's the guys who let it get the better of them that then end up doing some stupid shit like fucking driving over people in a car park and dumbass stuff. You don't need to be on steroids to do that. You just have to be a fucking bitch.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Facts, man.
So yeah, I think we can put a bow on that one. Like
Oh,
for
yeah.
now, instead of taking all of your energy and putting it into the comment section on a fucking Instagram page or a YouTube page, why don't you just have a good hard look in the mirror and stand there naked and then also look at your bank account. And if your bank account sucks and your physique sucks, clearly you're on the wrong fucking path. So you should probably do something about that rather than shit talking on social media, because that shit talking is not going to get you paying bills and it's not going to make you look any better in that mirror.
Facts.
It's a wrap.
There you go.
What else you got?
Dunzo.
What else you got? Anything?
I'm all
That's
good,
it?
man. You
Alrighty,
wrapped it
man.
up.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Drop a comment below. Let us know if you think Leighton's on steroids. I think he is. I think he's lying.
Let me wear my short sleeve shirt. Let me change so you can see the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think he's the fakest natty on the internet right now. No, I'm kidding. Guys, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next week.